they were all asked the question, right? And three big faces in the Arsenal community all asked the question, what's the expectation for the season? Well, you know, challenge for the title if we can, you know, maybe try and win a cup. Yeah, but, you know, I'd rather go one step further in the Champions League rather than a quarter get to a semi than win the League Cup. And I was sitting there ripping my hair out, hence why I'm bald. Right? I'm going to be that blood in Turkey soon. Right? Then on the next breath, what's your expectations for the Champions League? One of them said get to the final, and the other two said semi-final. And I'm like, none of you lot make sense. And this is what our fan base are like, Terry. Them three are exactly saying, mimicking exactly what everyone in this fan base says. If you ask any Arsenal fan, what is the aim, your bare minimum this season that you would accept as a decent season? Not one of them will say a trophy. And if they do say a trophy and he don't win one, they won't hold him accountable. Yeah. And then the host then said, when is it acceptable for us to demand winning titles and trophies? One of them then says, well, we have to get that monkey off our back and we have to actually win a trophy. You know, we can't expect trophies until we win trophies. Then in the next breath, they're saying get to a Champions League semi. I've only ever been to 2 in our life.
Do you want to know what I think it is, though, Lee? Do you want to know what
jarring,
I hear you, it's jarring, right? Someone left a comment on the stream a second ago and said, Terry, Arteta's had enough time now. So firstly,
thank you.
No, I get you. Let me just say, you misinterpreted what I'm saying. I'm saying just give Kai Havertz a little bit of time before he's completely written off or overhyped. I don't mean Arteta needs loads more time. I agree with you that the rebuild is done. It's now you expect to win trophies. The problem that you have, and this is honestly what I think, not everybody, but everybody is scared to give honest opinions because of well, if he doesn't do that, then what's the accountability element at the end of it? Because
that's why their bar's so low, because then if he overachieves,
no. I understand that. And everybody's kind of doing it because they don't want to be put into a situation. So for instance, if someone said it's win the Premier League or bust, that's, for me, it's too much of a blanket statement that holds no room for nuance, because I know you agree with this. If City win the league this year on 99 points and you come second on 98, you wouldn't sack Arteta per se if you were playing brilliantly and you were that good, because the likelihood
we just got unlucky and we lost out by 1 point. And listen, anyone who knows me will know that I'll sit there and go, yo, cool.
I agree, and that's what I mean. And that's the problem when it comes down to what are the expectations. Is some people, and especially rivals, put this to Arsenal. They do it to me as a Man United fan. They do it because what they're trying to do is set up a situation to create a clip in the future where you have to say, well, I've got to sack the manager again. And I keep saying it to people. I've got expectations on us to close the gap on people at the top and win a trophy this year. But if we don't win a trophy, they're like, well, that means you want to sack out Ten Hag, right? No, I have to wait and see for what else. We have to weigh things up. You look at the FA Cup as an example. If you got drawn away from home in the round 3 at Anfield, and then in round 4 you were away at the Old Trafford and get knocked out, you're annoyed, but it's not like you were knocked out playing at home against Luton. And you have to contextualize.
No. I totally disagree with that. Totally disagree with that. Arsenal have won the FA Cup. The last 2 times I think we've won the FA Cup, we've beaten Man City in the semi and Chelsea in the final.
Right.
Yeah, Man City, when we beat them in 2020, were still fantastic. When we beat them in 2017, I think they were on the season, the Centurion season, right? Still beat them, and then we beat record-breaking Chelsea.
I understand you can beat them. The point I'm making is that sometimes cup runs. That's what I mean by context. So you have to review things in real time, and not with this kind of, well, if we don't win the FA Cup this season or the League Cup, I want my manager sacked.
Yeah, but the problem with that, Terry, is I'll give an example. I'll give an example. Right, we got knocked out to Brighton in the League Cup. I don't matter. The League Cup's beneath us. Yeah, Robbie told everyone, it's beneath a club like Arsenal, mate. We don't want that cup. Yeah, then we get knocked out to Man City in the FA Cup. Oh, well, bigger fish to fry. Yeah, and I'm sitting there going absolutely nuts on my watch-along that we've been knocked out to Man City and we've been knocked out to Brighton. Right? I'm going fuming. Obviously, the Brighton game weren't even on TV, but on certain streams after, I was going nuts. Because I grew up on the cups, Terry. I've seen my team do a cup double.
Yeah. Bro, I don't disagree.
What you're saying, let me land, right? What you're saying is there has to be, context to it, which is cool. But all I heard all the way through that, and then when we get knocked out by Sporting, is, well, if we don't win the league, then come back and have a go at that. Yeah.
So I agree.
By which time we don't win the league, I come back and have a go at that, and it's, oh, just give him more time, give him more money, go again next season.
I totally agree. So I totally agree. During last season, you remember this. I agree with you on the whole bigger fish to fry stuff, and then with the hindsight, like, this is the thing for me. We just live in this world now where things are so polarized. I can be angry at my manager today, but still want him to remain as coach. My manager can foul this season, but I still want him to remain as coach, because it's about trajectory. Because not everybody. So I'm saying, because every season there's only 4 trophies that can be won, and typically there's between 5 to 6 clubs in England that can win them, and of course one of those trophies, all the other European clubs are after as well. So there, it doesn't matter how good your team is, there are going to be seasons where you don't win something if we all keep improving.
And that stuff every year, I get that.
However, this is what I would also say, and this is where you're right. You can say my team, my club, my manager fouled without there being an overreaction of get the banners out, fly the planes over, and sack him. And I'm making a sweeping statement. I'm not. You're talking about.
Yeah, I'll let you finish.
Yeah, because you're speaking about specifics about Arsenal and how you feel. I'm making a sweeping statement. If Pep don't win a trophy this year, that doesn't mean equal sacking him. That's the point I'm making.
Pep's an anomaly, mate.
No. Again, this is why I'm saying that this notion of would you sack your manager if you don't win? Explain to me the context.
Okay, so, I'll give you some context to it. Right, Jurgen Klopp, if he don't win anything this season, should be sacked. Straight up, should be sacked. Yeah, not look at what he's done for the club. Yeah, I remember Brendan Rodgers got Liverpool in a title race. They were the most exciting team in the league that season with Suarez, Sturridge, Sterling, all that up front. Yeah, but they conceded about 50 odd goals. Didn't win the league. Steven Gerrard slips over. Demba Ba, the rest is history. Yeah, right. By October the next season, they sacked him. They didn't go, oh, well, you know, we were so close. No. Now let me say about Klopp. Yeah.
Well, go on.
Klopp has got them in a title race year after year after year. He's won one, but he's up against Man City that were just relentless. Like Centurion season. Yeah, like 99 points, 98 points. Like just 98 or 97, whatever it was. Ridiculous, yeah? Ridiculous. So there's the context. The context is we went toe-to-toe with Man City, but they just done us by 1 point. But we were in that. Now let's go again. He's won a Champions League. He's been to 3 Champions League finals in his time there. Right? He's been to a Europa League final in his first half season, lost that to Sevilla, Unai Emery. Lost a League Cup final in his first half season as well. First full season he was at Liverpool, he got Champions League football. Yeah, so he got 2 cup finals in his first half season. Then first full season got top 4. Off of the back of that, he gets Champions League final and loses. Off of the back of that, he gets the Champions League final and wins it. Then he's been to another Champions League final in the meantime. He's then won a domestic double. So this season that he's just had, you can go, okay, cool. He's got credit in the bank. Yes, it's very disappointing, but he's got that track record. If he don't win anything this season, he's finished. And if he ain't, then they're going to have another Wenger on their hands.
So I understand your point on that. But so if he comes narrowly second in the Premier League next year and they are looking amazing, they're looking brilliant, but doesn't win it, you say
doesn't win anything,
but they are amazing in the Prem. They're even if he's just behind the people that won it, and they look like they're going to get even better next year because
you're saying it looks like they're going to get even better next year.
Yeah,
you don't know that. Yeah, nobody knows that Arsenal are going to be better from last season. Everyone's hoping Arsenal will be better.
But no one.
Arsenal, I think
it's not about that, Lee. I'll answer your thing. It's not about that. No prediction, whether you think a team's going forward, backwards, or standing still. It's all based on what we know already. So if you see a team getting better and better and better and better and better towards the end, like throughout the course of the season, and then they narrowly miss out on winning the Premier League, and you know they're going to buy again in the summer, the squad's quite young, they look like they're improving. It is not a weird opinion to hold that I think next year we could be even better again. If they have a season like last year again, miss out on Champions League football, struggle with conceding goals, things fall apart in the middle of the campaign, I think you could be absolutely right. I want to ask you as well about some other top 6 managers. If Poch doesn't win a trophy this year, should he be sacked?
No, you give him the summer, and you give him the first 10 games.
Why
And
though?
why? Because he's walked into an absolute shambles, Terry. Yeah, that's probably the worst example you could have given me out of the top 6. He's walked into an absolute shambles.
It's not. I'm not asking why because I don't understand.
No.
I'm pointing out, Lee, you've just given me context. And that's what I'm saying.
I've given you context on a manager, Brendan Rodgers, that was in a title race and Gerrard slipped 3 months into the new season. He lost his job.
Yes, but hang on. But let me respond to that. If Brendan Rodgers the following year was right up at the top of the table again, they were looking even better than they were the previous season, he wouldn't have been sacked. So my point is about Klopp. If next season he's better than this year and he's right up there with the best team in the Premier League and they're getting better and better and better,
where Liverpool were for the last 5 years.
But this is the thing. But then again, he's rebuilding a team again now. You just took
he didn't win anything for 2 years in a row.
But not
Liverpool Football Club.
Hang on.
Standards have been set.
But if his trajectory is moving towards winning those major
trajectory and actual, let's stop waffling here. The game is about glory. The game is about winning trophies, mate.
Of course it is. Exactly. My point is, if you let me.
It's not about trajectory and.
Of course it is about trajectory. It's all about trajectory. It's all about yes, exactly. So your trajectory. Yes, your trajectory towards winning. So if you're on the edge of winning and you feel you're getting better. Let me ask you a question.
This year, that's 2 years without winning anything.
Let me ask you a question, Lee. Answer me a question. If your team's improving and quickly moving towards winning those major trophies and it's looking good, would you do something to disrupt it that could make it go backwards?
Okay, well, that's a great question. I'm glad you've asked it exactly how you've asked that. If your club is moving forward, well, hold on. He took them so far backwards this season, they didn't get Champions League football. So going back to where you was is not moving forward, is it? It's just the standards have dropped because you got us out the Champions League spots. But now you've put us back where we was. So you ain't moved forward. You've just gone back to level and you ain't won anything along the way for the last 2 years. So it makes no sense. I'll give another example.
But you're trying to win trophies.
Okay, and if Klopp don't win one this season, he should be sacked. That's 2 years without one. Name another big club on the planet.
So you'll apply context to Poch. You'll apply context to Pep, who you say is an anomaly, but you won't apply context to Jurgen Klopp. Why?
No, I've applied context to Klopp. Yeah, Pep's a totally different story.
With Pochettino,
because you're putting words in my mouth.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. I want to know. You have applied context to Jurgen Klopp, but from a negative connotation. You haven't applied positive context to Jurgen Klopp.
Like what I said.
No, I agree with you. I understand. If he doesn't improve this year and they stay where they were and doesn't win anything, I agree. In that context, he should probably lose his job.
No, if they finish second and miss out on the title by 1 point, they come back to where they were 3 years ago.
What you do, Lee, is this. Lee, what you always do, well, it's progress from where they were last year towards winning the trophy.
Took them so far backwards, Terry.
So you don't think a manager, if they have a bad year, should ever be given the chance to improve themselves again?
My mouth. You're doing mental gymnastics.
Hang on, no, I'm not. That's exactly what you've just said. You've said to me.
He had a year where he's took them backwards.
Hang on, Lee. Stop, Lee. You've just said to me, Jurgen Klopp took them backwards last year. Even if he progresses them back to challenging for the title again next year, where they look brilliant and they look very, very good indeed. But if they don't win anything at the end of it, you'd still sack him. That for me is not. But so how am I putting words into your mouth? You literally said that.
No, but Terry, you're saying that you're not no what you have said there.
What you have said, no. What I said, Lee, is you're not allowing. You've said that a manager Klopp doesn't deserve the chance to improve on last year's failure.
Well, he does because he's got the whole season this season. If he don't win anything, he's not improved, does he? So he's sacked.
But he has. But he could improve on last year.
No, could
make the team better.
Winning something.
You can get them. Yeah, but it's not. Listen, it's not as basic and it's not as basic as you're making out.
Football's a basic game. You either win or you lose.
No, yes, I understand that. But why are you taking out of context where a team sits, the progression of that team, the trajectory, the direction that they're moving in?
You're just not letting me finish.
You literally
Jurgen Klopp had that team in title race. They won Champions League. They've been to multiple finals in all competitions. They've won a cup double. Yeah, they've won a league title. They've won a Champions League. He's then took them to fifth, I think it was, wasn't it? Fifth they finished. So now he's got the opportunity to rectify that and have another whole season after a summer spend to now go and win something. So he's now got one season where he's been crap and he's took them so far backwards from what the standard was. But now we'll give you another load of dough. You better win something this season. So you've got the whole season. And if you don't win something, That's now 2 seasons. Sorry, mate. Adios, amigo. Done. There's your context.
No context.
Well, it is context. He's had 2 seasons and won nothing. Again,
like I've said, you have to assess where they finish. This is just my opinion. Where they finish, what they do, where they're at, how they performed in other competitions, and the trajectory that they're going in, the way that the dressing room feels about him. And I'll give you an example in that is your own manager. Now, if he doesn't win anything, then fair play. But there was a time where everybody believed he'd lost your dressing room. Nobody was playing for him. They wouldn't progress and move forward. And look where they are now, at a point where some people, including Gary Neville today, have predicted you to win the Premier League next year.
Well, Gary Neville's always going to twerk for Arsenal after getting bombarded last season. For
I don't know about that, but okay, I'm just saying though, right? I'm just saying this. I understand where you're coming from, and this is where I think me and you miss each other sometimes. The context you apply to Jurgen Klopp, I agree with, but this is the thing with context. Context can come in multiple forms. You could literally sit there and create 100 different variant. Hang on. No, it's not based on your emotion.
Don't care.
No, but exactly. Facts don't care, but you're not letting me finish. It's not about your emotions. No, exactly. So let me finish your statement of a straight fact. The context can be 100 different scenarios because the context is the facts of the situation. And until I know exactly what happened, it's very difficult ahead of time to judge with a sweeping statement of, if you don't win a trophy, I would just sack you. There are so many anomalies that you have to consider and put into consideration before sacking somebody. In my personal opinion.
I totally agree. But when you've been...
You wouldn't sack Poch. But I tell you where you would sack Poch, if he finished 15th.
No, I wouldn't.
So I've seen Arsenal. Hang on a minute. So you're telling me if Poch took Chelsea even further back, by the way, then if he took them even further back and they were even worse than they were last year, you wouldn't sack Poch?
Terry, every manager that comes into a football club, like obviously Arteta's different. It's my football club. When I look at other football clubs, I judge them differently to the attachment I have to my football club. Yeah. So I take my Arsenal cap off and I go, right, Poch has got the job. That geezer who owns that football club is an absolute cowboy. He ain't got a Scooby-Doo what he's doing, really. Yeah, it's an absolute mess. They got 40 players on their books. He's come into it. Yeah, he's now got one of his star men out injured for 4 months, right? They've not got a striker. What are they doing with midfield? Caicedo, this and that. If he takes them to 15th, you give him another transfer window. And after 10 games, if he's still nowhere near being up at the top of the table, sack him. You've now given him just over a year. You've given him the backing. You've given him the players he needs, striker-wise, midfielders, whatever, defenders. Then you sack him. With Jurgen Klopp, it's different. Jurgen Klopp came into that football club, got into 2 finals straight away, first full season top 4, 2 Champions League finals back-to-back, won a Premier League, been in a title race every year, then done a cup double, is then took them all the way backwards. So now it's seen as success if he gets them back in a title race. No, the standards were set by him by doing what he was doing. Now he's fallen off of that. You go, okay, cool. Maybe that was just a freak season for Liverpool. Yeah? So now you give him another go. You give him the whole season because he's built that credit in the bank of winning titles, trophies, getting you to finals. But then if he doesn't succeed, i.e. lifting trophies at the end of that next season, that is now 2 seasons. Sorry, mate. See you later. With Poch, it's different. He's only just got there.
Did you give
him a bit of time?
I'm asking a genuine question here. Did you give Arteta that leeway after his first season? I don't think I
judge other football clubs differently to how I judge my club.
I thought I'm not trying to catch you out. I'm asking, Lee, sometimes not everyone's trying to catch you out. I'm asking a genuine question to make sure I heard it. So
I didn't want Arteta at all.
So what you're actually saying is you don't judge Arsenal based on facts. You judge it based on emotion.
I judge Arsenal based on the fact, we're on our longest trophy drought for a decade. Yeah, a decade.
You're too emotional, Lee.
No, I also, after the first full season, he won an FA Cup. And if you go and watch my FA Cup live watch along that day, I was the happiest man on the planet. Even though I didn't like the manager, I still don't particularly rate him that highly.
I understand that.
I was the happiest guy on the planet because you know what? He actually delivered what the aim of the game is, a trophy. And all of this emotion, cool. With my club, yes, I am emotionally invested in my football club. Yeah, but the facts don't care about my emotions. The facts are he finished 8th in his first full season. The second season, first season. The second season, his first full season, he finished 8th again.
No.
So
but you do realize if he ends up winning the Premier League, it is a thumb in the eye to people to think you should just sack managers straight off the bat. But listen, we're going to go to some of these super chats here. First one says, wasn't Lee ready to sack Ten Hag for United in his first season? You were, Lee. You didn't want to give him. You said he should have been sacked.
Yeah, but again, context. Yeah, context. He bombs out the club, Cristiano Ronaldo, but then he doesn't strip Harry Maguire of the captain's armband. He just benched him because it was a weak, easy way out. Yeah. But having said that, I probably was a bit hasty on that, and I am going to hold my hands up. He did win a trophy, which is the aim. There you go. Clip that, KJ.
Lee Gunner has admitted he was wrong. He knows. Do you know what happened? You were talking there, Lee, and I could hear you going, shit, I can't get out of this one.
No, I can get out of it, sir. I can get out of any situation.
But he's right, though. So for what you see, this is what I'm saying, though.
He competed for 3 cups.
No, but Lee,
and he won one of them.
Lee, but you've just proven me right?
But
hang on a minute. Our manager improved our league position, won us a trophy, but because of the context of how he managed the Maguire situation, Ronaldo situation, and some of our big, hang on, and because of I'm going to tell you, and because of some of our big defeats, your context was that's still enough to sack him. But with Poch, you're like, well, no, even if they go backwards, he should be given another year. And this is what the point I'm making about the context can be 100 different things. What if Poch takes them to 15th, but they have their 3 biggest defeats in history and he fucks up the captaincy, the same as Ten Hag? Then would you sack Poch?
Probably, yeah.